On a quiet autumn morning, 32-year-old Sophia Carter stood in the kitchen of her beautiful home, pouring coffee while the soft golden sunlight filled the room. From the outside, her life looked perfect. She had a loving husband, Daniel, a comfortable house, and a small flower shop that she had built with passion and hard work. Every day, customers visited her shop not only to buy flowers, but also to hear her cheerful voice and warm words. Sophia believed she was one of the fortunate people in the world. Daniel would often tell her, "You worry too much, Sophia. Everything is fine." And she believed him. For 10 years, Sophia trusted the man she loved with all her heart. Every evening, they sat together on the porch, talking about dreams they hoped to achieve one day. Daniel wanted to expand his business, and Sophia dreamed of opening more flower shops across the city. Their life seemed simple, peaceful, and complete. But sometimes, life hides storms behind beautiful skies. Over the past year, Daniel had begun coming home later than usual. He spent more time on his phone and less time talking to Sophia. "Work has been difficult," he would say. Sophia wanted to trust him, so she ignored the small doubts growing inside her heart. One cold evening, Daniel forgot his phone on the dining table while taking a shower. Sophia had no intention of checking it. But then a message appeared on the screen. "I miss you already. I can't wait to see you tomorrow." Sophia stared at the words. Her hands trembled. Her heart began beating so loudly that she could hear it. At first, she thought there must be some mistake. But there were more messages. Photographs. Conversations. Promises. Another woman. Sophia felt as though the ground beneath her had disappeared. When Daniel came out of the shower, she held the phone in her shaking hands. "What is this?" she whispered. Daniel looked at the screen and remained silent. That silence hurt more than any words. "How long?" Sophia asked, tears filling her eyes. Daniel looked away. 2 years. 2 years. For 2 years, he had lived 2 lives while she had trusted him completely. Everything around Sophia suddenly felt unfamiliar. The home they built together no longer felt like home. The memories they shared felt like lies. "You said you loved me," she cried. Daniel sighed. "People change, Sophia." Those words broke something inside her. Not because he had left, but because he had stopped caring. That night, Sophia sat alone in the living room while rain fell outside. She looked at old photographs. Birthdays. Vacations. Smiles. How many of them had been real? As midnight approached, Sophia realized something painful. Sometimes people do not break your heart in one moment. Sometimes people do not break your heart in one moment. Sometimes they break it little by little, until one day you realize you are standing among the ruins of a life you thought would last forever. And that was the night Sophia's world began to fall apart. The weeks after Daniel left were the hardest days of Sophia's life. The house was quiet. Too quiet. No footsteps. No conversations. No laughter. Only silence. Sophia stopped opening her flower shop regularly. She no longer had the energy to smile at customers. Flowers that once brought her joy now reminded her of memories she wanted to forget. Her friends tried to help. "You'll be okay," they said. But they did not understand. Heartbreak is not only sadness. It is losing the future you imagined. It is waking up every morning and remembering that your life has changed forever. One evening, Sophia sat alone in the dark. She looked into the mirror. The woman staring back at her looked tired, empty, and lost. "Who am I now?" she whispered. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Sophia avoided people. She stopped answering calls. She stopped caring about things she once loved. Her flower shop nearly closed. Bills piled up. Everything seemed impossible. One rainy afternoon, Sophia walked through the city without knowing where she was going. She sat on a bench in a small park. An elderly woman sat beside her. The woman smiled gently. "You look like someone carrying a heavy burden," she said. Sophia tried to smile, but tears came instead. The old woman remained silent for a moment. Then she said something Sophia would never forget. "Sometimes life breaks us because it is preparing us to become someone stronger." Sophia looked at her. "But I feel empty." The old woman nodded. An empty garden is not dead. It is waiting for spring. Those words stayed in Sophia's mind. That night, for the first time in months, she opened her notebook. She wrote, "I am broken today. But maybe broken is not the end." It was a small step. But every journey begins with one step. Sophia began taking care of herself again. She reopened her flower shop. She smiled, even when it felt difficult. She planted new flowers. And slowly, very slowly, life began to return. She learned an important truth. Pain changes people, but pain does not have to destroy them. Sometimes it teaches them how strong they really are. Spring arrived, and with it came change. Sophia spent more time in her flower shop. Customers noticed something different. Her smile was not the same as before. It was quieter, stronger, more real. One day, a young woman entered the shop. She looked sad. "My husband left me," the woman said softly. Sophia listened. For the first time, she realized her pain could help others. She shared her story. The young woman cried. Then she smiled. "Thank you," she said. That moment changed Sophia's life. She began organizing small gatherings for women who had experienced loss and heartbreak. Every week, they shared stories. They laughed. They cried. They healed together. Sophia discovered that helping others also healed her own heart. Years passed. Her flower business grew. Her support group became larger. People from different places came to hear her speak. One evening, Sophia stood before an audience. She said, "Being broken is not weakness. It is proof that you survived something difficult." The audience applauded. Among the crowd, Sophia saw Daniel. Older, quieter, watching silently. For a moment, memories returned. Pain returned. But only for a moment. Because Sophia understood something important. The woman she had become was stronger than the woman she used to be. Daniel approached her. "I'm sorry," he said. Sophia looked at him calmly. "I forgive you," she replied. Not because he deserved forgiveness, but because she deserved peace. And with that, she walked away. Not with anger. Not with sadness. But with freedom. Sophia's life continued to grow in ways she never imagined. She traveled to different cities. She spoke at events. She helped women rebuild their confidence. People called her inspirational. But Sophia never forgot the nights she cried alone. She knew that strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is continuing despite pain. One day, a journalist asked, "What is the greatest lesson life taught you?" Sophia smiled. That endings are not always endings. Sometimes they are beginnings. The interviews spread across the country. Thousands wrote to her. Women shared stories of betrayal, loss, and survival. Sophia answered as many as she could, because she remembered what it felt like to believe no one understood. One evening, Sophia returned to the park where she had once met the elderly woman. She sat on the same bench. But the woman was not there. Perhaps she had been a stranger. Perhaps she had been a messenger of hope. Sophia looked at the sunset. For years, she believed her life ended the day her heart broke. But she was wrong. Her real life had begun after the pain. She realized that scars do not make us weaker. They remind us of what we survived. And Sophia had survived more than she ever thought possible. 10 years later, Sophia stood on a stage before thousands of people. She was receiving an award for helping women rebuild their lives. As she looked at the audience, she remembered the lonely nights, the tears, and the broken dreams. Everything that once felt like an ending had become part of a greater story. Sophia stepped to the microphone. "When I was younger," she said, "I thought being broken meant my life was over." The audience listened quietly. But life taught me something different. She paused. Broken hearts can heal. Broken dreams can change. And broken people can become stronger than they ever imagined. People stood and applauded. Sophia smiled. Not because life had been easy, but because she had survived. Because she had rebuilt herself. Because she had turned pain into purpose. That night, Sophia returned home. She walked through a beautiful garden filled with flowers. The same flowers she once thought had lost their meaning. She looked at the stars and whispered, Thank you for the pain that taught me strength. And in that moment, Sophia understood. She was never merely a broken woman. She was an unbreakable one.